What if the tuna in your pantry isn't actually tuna at all? Behind the glossy labels and ocean imagery lies a shocking truth. Major canned tuna brands are serving up mystery fish cocktails, passing them off as the real deal. DNA analysis reveals some cans contain less than half actual tuna, stuffed instead with cheaper alternatives like mackerel, escolar, and unidentifiable fish scraps. This isn't sloppy processing, it's calculated fraud. Companies exploit labeling gray areas, use protein fillers, and spray artificial flavoring to mask what's really swimming in those cans. You're paying premium prices for bargain bin fish and industrial additives. The seafood industry banks on consumer trust, but that trust is being systematically betrayed. From mercury-heavy substitutes to fish that can literally make you sick, these brands are gambling with your health and wallet. Today we're exposing the worst offenders. These are the 7 canned tuna brands that aren't giving you what you paid for. Number 7, the Golden Deception. What happens when America's sweetheart of seafood turns out to be a wolf in sheep's clothing? Bumblebee has built its empire on nostalgia and pristine ocean imagery. But recent investigations paint a drastically different picture. Independent laboratory testing conducted throughout 2024 uncovered a disturbing truth. Nearly 4 out of 10 Bumblebee cans contained significant amounts of non-tuna fish, with some samples showing escolar contamination levels that would make your stomach turn. Literally. The escolar problem runs deeper than most consumers realize. This fish, nicknamed the X-lax fish by industry insiders, contains wax esters that the human digestive system cannot process. The result? Explosive digestive episodes that can last for hours. Yet Bumblebee's processing facilities continue to blend this problematic fish into their premium tuna products, relying on heavy brining and artificial flavor enhancement to mask its presence. But the species-swapping scandal doesn't end there. Former quality control supervisors from Southeast Asian processing plants have leaked internal documents revealing protein flexibility protocols, corporate speak for substituting whatever fish is cheapest that week. Skipjack remnants, albacore scraps, and even unidentifiable fish paste get churned together in industrial mixers before being seasoned with synthetic tuna flavoring compounds. The oil-packed varieties present their own nightmare. Laboratory analysis revealed that Bumblebee frequently dilutes expensive fish oil with cheap soybean oil, dramatically altering the nutritional profile consumers expect. Instead of heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids, you're getting inflammatory omega-6 fats that can contribute to cardiovascular problems. Meanwhile, the glossy marketing campaigns continue to feature pristine fishing boats and crystal-clear waters, selling you a fantasy while delivering an industrial food product that bears little resemblance to actual tuna. Number 6, the Siren's false song. Behind the charming mermaid mascot and wholesome branding lies one of the industry's most systematic deception campaigns. Recent DNA barcoding studies have exposed the ugly truth about this supposedly trustworthy brand. Nearly 1/3 of their products contain significant amounts of non-tuna species, primarily cheaper mackerel and sardine that have been processed beyond recognition. The substitution scheme operates on an industrial scale. Processing facilities in Thailand, where the majority of these products originate, employ sophisticated grinding and blending techniques that turn various fish species into an unidentifiable paste. This mixture is then treated with phosphate solutions, chemicals that force the fish to retain more water, artificially inflating the weight and allowing manufacturers to charge premium prices for what amounts to diluted fish paste. Consumer protection agencies have documented multiple instances where cans labeled as light tuna contained mercury levels approaching dangerous thresholds. The term light has become meaningless marketing speak, used to justify the inclusion of smaller fish species that may actually contain concentrated toxins from their position in the marine food chain. Pregnant women and children, who often choose these products believing they're making safer choices, may actually be exposing themselves to higher risk levels. The phosphate treatment reveals another layer of the deception. These chemical soaking solutions don't just increase water retention. They also mask the natural flavors of substitute fish species, making it nearly impossible for consumers to detect the fraud through taste alone. Laboratory technicians report finding phosphate residue levels in some samples that exceed what would naturally occur in fresh fish by more than 400%. You're essentially paying premium prices for chemically enhanced fish paste that bears little resemblance to the ocean-fresh tuna promised on the label. Number 5. The cartoon conspiracy. The beloved cartoon mascot has been selling more than just tuna. He's been selling lies. This corporate giant's recent legal troubles for price fixing were just the tip of an iceberg that extends deep into species fraud and contamination issues. Undercover investigations at processing facilities revealed a disturbing practice called mixed species retention, where fishing vessels dump everything from their nets, tuna, bycatch, reef fish, and marine debris into the same freezing containers. Once these mixed catches reach processing plants, industrial grinders reduce everything to an indistinguishable paste. Bleaching agents remove telltale coloration differences between species, while artificial flavoring systems add synthetic compounds designed to mimic tuna's distinctive taste profile. Laboratory analysis of their premium solid white albacore products revealed protein fragments from mahi-mahi, squid, and unidentified fish species comprising more than 20% of the total content. The health implications extend beyond simple mislabeling. Mercury testing revealed average levels of 79 parts per million in their albacore products, dangerously close to EPA safety thresholds. For regular consumers, especially families who rely on canned tuna for affordable protein, these levels can accumulate to toxic concentrations over time. Children and pregnant women face particular risks, as mercury exposure during development can cause permanent neurological damage. The oil-packed varieties present additional concerns through deliberate nutritional manipulation. Instead of using pure fish oil, which provides beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, manufacturers blend in cheaper vegetable oils that actually promote inflammation in the human body. This cost-cutting measure transforms what should be a heart-healthy food into a product that may contribute to cardiovascular disease. The cartoon mascot's cheerful grin becomes increasingly sinister when you realize the extent of the deception being perpetrated on trusting consumers who believe they're feeding their families wholesome seafood. Number 4. The Italian masquerade. When you see those elegant labels with their Mediterranean-inspired design and premium positioning, you're buying into one of the most sophisticated marketing illusions in the canned seafood industry. This brand has perfected the art of selling Italian heritage and artisanal quality while delivering something entirely different behind the fancy packaging. Recent DNA analysis conducted by marine biology researchers revealed that nearly 1/5 of their premium solid yellowfin products contain substitute species, including big eye and skipjack tuna that carry vastly different mercury profiles and nutritional characteristics. The deception runs deeper than simple species substitution. Corporate transparency investigations uncovered that despite the Italian branding and Mediterranean imagery, the vast majority of these products never see Italian soil. Instead, they emerge from the same Southeast Asian processing facilities that manufacture products for discount brands, using identical machinery and similar quality control standards. The only difference is the marketing budget and the price tag you pay at checkout. The olive oil scandal represents perhaps the most brazen aspect of this premium fraud. Chemical analysis of the oil used in their products revealed frequent use of pomace oil, a heavily processed, solvent-extracted oil that represents the bottom tier of olive oil production. This industrial-grade oil undergoes chemical refinement processes that strip away the beneficial compounds consumers expect from authentic olive oil, replacing them with residual solvents and processing chemicals. Yet consumers pay premium prices believing they're getting extra virgin quality. Weight manipulation tactics further expose the brand's profit-first mentality. Systematic testing revealed that caloric content routinely exceeds label claims by significant margins, not because of more fish meat, but due to deliberate oil overfilling designed to increase perceived value. This practice artificially inflates both weight and calories while reducing the actual protein content per serving. Corporate ownership records reveal the final insult. This supposedly independent premium brand operates under the same corporate umbrella as mass-market manufacturers, sharing supply chains, processing facilities, and quality standards while charging double the price for virtually identical products wrapped in more attractive packaging. Number 3, the green halo effect. Few brands have capitalized on environmental consciousness as successfully as this sustainability-focused manufacturer. Their marketing narrative of pole-and-line fishing, ocean responsibility, and pure ingredients has captured the loyalty of environmentally conscious consumers willing to pay premium prices for ethical seafood. However, investigative research from environmental watchdog organizations has revealed significant gaps between the marketing promise and operational reality that should concern anyone who chooses this brand for ethical reasons. The supply chain investigation conducted by marine conservation groups uncovered a complex network of fishing contractors that operate with mixed methodologies, depending on seasonal availability and economic pressures. While the brand promotes pole-and-line fishing as their standard practice, contracted vessels frequently switch to long-lining operations when target species become scarce or economically unviable. These high bycatch methods contradict the sustainable fishing narrative that drives much of the brand's premium pricing and consumer loyalty. DNA testing protocols designed to verify species purity revealed trace amounts of non-tuna genetic material in multiple samples, indicating supply chain contamination despite claims of rigorous quality control. While these levels may not trigger regulatory violations, they demonstrate that even brands with the strongest sustainability reputation struggle to maintain complete supply chain integrity in the globalized tuna industry. Nutritional discrepancies present another concern for health-conscious consumers who choose this brand specifically for its no-salt added formulations. Laboratory testing revealed sodium levels consistently higher than label declarations, likely resulting from undisclosed fish protein additives used to enhance texture and flavor. Mercury testing, while generally lower than mass-market alternatives, still showed concerning levels in some albacore products that could pose risks for frequent consumers. The premium price point and environmental marketing create a powerful consumer appeal. But the reality of global tuna sourcing means that even the most well-intentioned brands cannot completely escape the industry's systemic problems. Number 2, the store brand switcheroo. When you reach for that familiar supermarket brand promising budget-friendly nutrition, you're stepping into one of retail's most elaborate shell games. Behind the cheerful store branding and cost-conscious pricing lies a systematic operation that transforms mystery fish into what appears to be legitimate tuna through industrial sleight of hand. Recent comprehensive DNA auditing has exposed the shocking extent of this deception, revealing that nearly half of these private label products contain species that never belonged in a tuna can. The substitute fish roster reads like a marine biology nightmare. Escalar, nicknamed the white tuna by unscrupulous processors, dominates many samples despite its infamous reputation for causing explosive digestive episodes. This oily fish contains indigestible wax esters that pass through the human system largely unchanged, creating bathroom emergencies so severe that several countries have banned its sale entirely. Frigate mackerel, another common substitute, carries elevated mercury levels, while delivering a metallic aftertaste that processors mask with heavy brining solutions. Processing facility documentation obtained through industry whistleblowers reveals the mechanics of this fraud. Protein batch blending has become the sanitized term for combining whatever fish is cheapest and most available, regardless of species. Industrial grinders pulverize mixed catches into unrecognizable paste, which then receives chemical treatments to standardize color, texture, and appearance. Artificial flavoring systems spray synthetic compounds designed to mimic tuna's distinctive taste onto this processed mixture, creating a convincing fake that fools both casual consumers and even some professional taste testers. The sodium deception adds another layer of consumer betrayal. Laboratory testing revealed actual sodium content nearly double the label claims, with some samples containing over 340 milligrams per serving despite packaging that promises much lower levels. This massive discrepancy isn't accidental. It results from the heavy brining required to make substitute fish palatable and from undeclared protein additives used to achieve proper texture. For health-conscious consumers trying to manage blood pressure or sodium intake, these hidden levels can sabotage dietary goals and potentially contribute to cardiovascular problems. Mercury contamination presents the most serious health risk. Inconsistent sourcing means that mercury levels fluctuate wildly between production batches, with some albacore varieties testing at levels approaching FDA action thresholds. The budget pricing attracts vulnerable populations, including seniors on fixed incomes and families seeking affordable protein sources, making the potential health consequences particularly troubling. Number 1. The retail giant's ultimate deception. At the pinnacle of seafood fraud sits the ultimate discount retailer's house brand, a product so divorced from actual tuna that calling it fish becomes generous. This isn't simply a case of cutting corners or using lower-grade ingredients. This represents a complete reconstruction of what consumers understand as canned tuna, built from whatever marine proteins happen to be cheapest on global commodity markets. The DNA evidence tells a story of systematic species substitution so comprehensive that some cans contain zero tuna genetic material whatsoever. Pacific blue runner, various mackerel species, and unidentifiable fish fragments combine in industrial mixers to create products that exist in name only as tuna. Recent testing revealed the most extreme case of mislabeling ever documented in the American food supply, with nearly 6 out of 10 samples containing completely different species than advertised. The manufacturing process behind these products reads like science fiction horror. Leaked documentation from contracted processing facilities describes meat reconstruction. Protocols using transglutaminase, commonly known as meat glue, to bind disparate fish proteins into convincing tuna-like flakes. This enzyme allows processors to create artificial muscle texture from fish scraps and protein powders, which then receives coating treatments with artificial tuna essence designed to replicate the sensory experience of eating actual tuna. Environmental and ethical concerns compound the health risks. Many substitute species originate from unregulated fishing operations, where bycatch includes protected marine life. Sea turtle and shark DNA has been detected in samples, indicating that these products may inadvertently support destructive fishing practices that contribute to marine ecosystem collapse. The rock-bottom pricing that attracts budget-conscious consumers comes at a hidden environmental cost that extends far beyond individual health concerns. Mercury contamination reaches alarming levels due to the unpredictable nature of substitute species. Testing revealed mercury concentrations averaging 74 parts per million, the highest levels found among all major brands surveyed. For regular consumers, especially children and pregnant women, these levels can accumulate to toxic concentrations that cause permanent neurological damage. The sodium and oil manipulation tactics employed further compromise nutritional value, with vegetable protein fillers and cheap oils replacing the beneficial nutrients consumers expect from seafood. The ultimate irony lies in the great value marketing promise. While the initial price appears attractive, consumers pay premium prices for industrial food processing, artificial flavoring, and health risks that no legitimate tuna product would contain. This isn't value, it's exploitation of consumer trust on an unprecedented scale. Now let's see 3 bonus points. Bonus point 1, the mercury shell game. The canned tuna industry has mastered the art of mercury manipulation, creating an elaborate shell game that leaves consumers guessing about their actual exposure levels. While most people focus on brand names and species types, the real danger lurks in how processing facilities strategically blend fish from different mercury zones to create products that technically meet safety standards while maximizing profit margins. Here's how the game works. Processors source tuna from multiple geographic regions where mercury contamination varies dramatically. Fish caught near industrial coastlines or areas with heavy coal plant emissions can contain mercury levels 3 to 4 times higher than those from pristine waters. Instead of segregating these catches, facilities blend high mercury and low mercury fish to achieve an average that falls just below FDA action levels. This means that while your can might technically be safe, individual pieces within that same can could contain mercury spikes that exceed safety thresholds by significant margins. The most insidious aspect involves temporal manipulation. Mercury accumulates in fish tissue over time, meaning older, larger tuna carry exponentially higher levels than younger specimens. Processing facilities exploit regulatory loopholes by mixing small amounts of high mercury mature fish with larger quantities of lower mercury juvenile tuna. The resulting blend meets average safety standards while potentially delivering dangerous mercury doses in specific portions of the product. Recent investigations have uncovered internal industry documents referring to this practice as risk distribution, a euphemism that sanitizes what amounts to systematic mercury contamination management. Testing protocols used by manufacturers measure mercury content from homogenized samples, essentially fish smoothies, rather than testing individual pieces, masking dangerous hot spots within the same can. For pregnant women, children, and frequent tuna consumers, this Russian roulette approach to mercury management represents a hidden health threat that current labeling requirements completely fail to address. The FDA's reliance on average mercury levels rather than maximum exposure limits creates a regulatory blind spot that the industry exploits with mathematical precision. Bonus point 2, the microplastic invasion. While consumers worry about mercury and mislabeling, an invisible threat has infiltrated the global tuna supply: microplastics. These microscopic plastic particles, smaller than 5 millimeters, have become ubiquitous in marine environments, and tuna, as apex predators, concentrate these pollutants in their tissues at alarming rates. Recent scientific analysis has revealed that virtually every can of tuna now contains measurable levels of microplastic contamination, yet not a single major brand acknowledges this reality on their packaging. The contamination pathway reveals the scope of ocean plastic pollution. Tuna consumes smaller fish that have ingested plastic debris, creating a bioaccumulation effect that concentrates microplastics in tuna muscle tissue. These particles carry absorbed toxins, including pesticides, industrial chemicals, and hormone disruptors that can leach into human tissue after consumption. Laboratory testing has identified microplastic particles in canned tuna samples ranging from 0.5 to 30 particles per gram of fish, with larger predatory species like albacore showing higher contamination levels. Processing facilities have become unwitting concentration centers for microplastic pollution. Industrial washing and grinding operations break down larger plastic fragments into microscopic pieces that become impossible to remove from fish tissue. The canning process, involving high-temperature sterilization, may actually increase the bioavailability of plastic-absorbed toxins by breaking down particle structure and releasing concentrated chemical loads. The health implications remain largely unstudied, creating a massive public health experiment with unknown consequences. Preliminary research suggests that microplastic consumption may contribute to inflammatory responses, endocrine disruption, and cellular damage, but comprehensive long-term studies don't exist. The tuna industry has maintained complete silence about microplastic contamination, neither testing for these particles nor informing consumers about their presence. This represents perhaps the most widespread contamination issue in the modern food supply, affecting every person who consumes canned tuna while remaining completely invisible to public awareness and regulatory oversight. Bonus point 3, the sustainability smokescreen. The canned tuna industry has weaponized environmental consciousness, creating elaborate sustainability narratives that mask some of the most destructive fishing practices on Earth. Behind every dolphin-safe logo and responsibly sourced claim lies a complex web of ecological devastation. That makes your tuna purchase complicit in marine ecosystem collapse, regardless of which brand you choose. The Dolphin Safe designation represents perhaps the most successful greenwashing campaign in food marketing history. While technically accurate, most modern tuna fishing operations don't directly kill dolphins. This narrow focus obscures massive bycatch problems involving sharks, sea turtles, and seabirds. Industrial tuna operations kill an estimated 40 million sharks annually as incidental catch, contributing to the near extinction of several shark species. Loggerhead and leatherback sea turtles face similar threats, with some fishing operations recording turtle death rates exceeding 1,000 individuals per year. The sustainability certification system has become a pay-to-play scheme where fishing operations purchase credibility rather than actually implementing environmental protections. Major certification bodies receive funding from the same companies they're supposed to regulate, creating obvious conflicts of interest. Internal documents leaked from certification organizations reveal approval processes that prioritize paperwork compliance over actual fishing practices, allowing destructive operations to display sustainability badges while continuing environmentally harmful activities. Perhaps most damaging is the industry's role in fish stock depletion. Global tuna populations have declined by more than 80% since industrial fishing began, yet consumption continues to increase. The mathematical impossibility of this situation has driven processors to rely increasingly on juvenile tuna fish that haven't reached reproductive maturity, effectively preventing population recovery. Recent analysis of commercial catches shows that nearly 60% of tuna harvested never had the opportunity to reproduce, creating a mathematical certainty of population collapse within decades. Every can of tuna represents participation in what marine biologists now recognize as one of the largest wildlife harvesting operations in human history, systematically depleting ocean ecosystems while marketing itself as a sustainable protein choice.